Hi, I'm Adam McKee. I own Contemporary Woods. We're located in Nebraska, and our goal is to be the foremost maker in the region. We do custom woodworking for cabinetry and furniture. And I first learned about the Pumpkin Plan book. I can't remember if I learned the Pumpkin Plan book first or Profit first, but I read both of them side by side. And that was 4 years ago this fall. They both were complete game changers for me. I will say that uh, I my back was against the wall, meaning like I was so tired of doing business uh, quid pro quo or as we were doing it. I was looking for anything that was different. Not only was I looking for different methods, but I was looking for different coaching. And so the pumpkin plan was kind of a slam dunk for me. One of the greatest things about it is the homework at each end of each chapter. I reached out to Pumpkin Plan Your Business, Donna Lyons, and her vast amount of resources was like, oh, well, we should have started here first. So definitely you can do it on your own, but there's lots of great resources out there that I would advise don't skip over. We made a lot of changes in that year or two time period. We ended our lease with our retail showroom. We brought all the company's operations under one roof. We I think for us, we have a little bit longer term product. I mean, a lot of people do, but from first call to delivery, it might be 12, 14, 16 weeks. Sometimes it's 6 months or 9 months, depends on so making these changes isn't necessarily overnight. It's not like we're a window washer. We can, just go wash a window at somebody else's place. Um, but I think it was probably a year that we really started seeing some different traction. Yeah. But it's like it's all these building blocks, I don't know whatever analogy we want to pick. Let's say we have a destination and we're building a railroad or a car, a transportation, long distance transportation. It takes a long time to develop that infrastructure, the immutable laws, your core values, really identifying who you are. I mean, immutable means non-changing. It's things about you that are so, coded inside you that that's the way you operate. That's the way you get respect and you give respect. And so some of these things take, peeling back the onion many, many layers to discover really who truly you are. And by having that consistency though, and going back to the plan you put in place over quarters and over a year's time, that's when you can start seeing the change. But yet again, it's like if you have to find your ideal clients or narrow down your niche to your ideal clients, it's it's building, okay, your ideal client you work for now is going to give you a referral, and now you're going to use that referral on your website, and then you're going to get new clients with your marketing. But all that takes time, and it's a feedback loop that you have to monitor, and you have to go back to your mutable laws and your core values and go, okay, really what happened here, is that really truly how we want to serve our clients with the work. I think the quick wins was me realizing I didn't have to be the victim. I didn't have to be the person that was at fault in all of the interactions with the client. We started realizing different personality types, different communication types, different ways that maybe the client wasn't being a jerk. They just needed to process the information, and them asking more questions doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad client or a good client. And so I think it built a lot of like personal gratification that we're on the right path. That was some of the early wins for us because we were already in the middle of I don't know, 6 or 9 month project. It was I think $70,000 project at the time. For us, is a pretty decent sized project. It's multiple rooms in a house, and we had already gotten to the point with the client where we're at. But we started realizing, oh, well, what if we interact with the client this way, and what if we do? We're not quite done with this project. What if we say, hey, let's define the scope even better? So when they ask, change orders, we say, no, look, we've given you information. So I think that's where we had the small wins, was um, starting to, with our initial clients that we already were working with, like, oh, well, are they a good client or are they not? And how do we deal with this situation where we're at now? And let's not forget that at the same time, we were still acquiring new clients and new business. So we were learning from, oh, this client doesn't work very well with us because they don't value quality, they don't value teamwork, they don't value improvement. But this new client does. And okay, well, let's learn from what happened with this last client, but us under communicating, and let's, more over communicate with the new client. Anytime somebody goes, I just read the pumpkin plan book, I go, oh my God, tell me about your client interviews. Because that's for me, within my 34 strengths, communication and woo and are some of my top strengths. So I want to communicate with people, and I want to build a rapport and connection. So it's really fascinating how you can do that with the client interviews and learn more about what your client wants. I'm always offering, like, hey, if you need any help or guidance, I'd love to talk through the process, because I think that's, all the small steps in the book build up to big change, but those are some big key elements in the book right there is what we talked about. I think it's reading something in a text and going, okay, I guess that makes sense. But then talking to somebody that's implemented it with dozens or hundreds of different businesses, that's when you kind of get the aha moment, because you get more real life context. One of my favorite concepts, probably top 5 or top 10, is the vendor well, concept that they talked about. I think I have one of these marked here, around page 170 in the book. And, they find friction, but then they find ways to leverage that friction into serving multiple different people. And the vendor well was something I talked with about a coach that I was engaging services with. And they said, well, have you thought about doing it in this way or in that way? And I can't remember the specifics, but it took that basic knowledge. And they were an outside perspective that saw all the moving parts and pieces and said, oh, look, this is how we connect the dots. So I think just having that experienced person that's used these tools multiple times really was a big game changer too. For me, I had I had a lot of business maturity to grow up. I had to realize that I was an entrepreneur, I was in charge of my destiny, and I was able to change it and take control, get my life back from my business, so to speak. The author Mike Michalowicz talks about eradicating entrepreneurial poverty. And there's many forms poverty takes for a business owner. It's not money all the time. It's emotions, it's family, it's time, it's feeling beat down and feeling that you're not in control with your clients, feeling that you're held hostage by your work. And so that was the kind of some of the big things that really started to shape us. And we started to realize that, okay, we are working with a C client right now. It's okay. We've already made those choices. We can't change the past, but we can change how we move forward with this client. And we can honor our original agreement, but we can also be better at it. And that's really where I started to grow, is using these tools to decide that I am going to become the foremost maker in the region. We are going to inspire the celebration of craft. We're going to change the face of communication in our region and how we serve our clients. And we're still a fraction of the way there in our journey, but now we have more of a clear goal of where we're going. And looking back, we have the tools, the people that we can reach out to, the resources, and the community to help us get us there. This fall will be 4 years that we've been pumpkin planting our business. I'm really passionate about it because so many people out there are, heads in the sand, don't know there's a better way. And so the more we can talk about there's a better way, I think the more people will feel the relief that we all do.